It is now official. It is between West Ham United and Spurs, who will be relegated from the Premier League in just 2 weeks' time. Spurs have 3 games left and need a minimum of 5 points out of a possible 9 against Leeds, Chelsea and Everton. Now, talking about the last couple of weeks, 2 wins against Wolves and Aston Villa. Roberto De Zerbi has come out and said the job isn't done yet. There is still work to do. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's start by talking about the 4 Premier League results from Sunday afternoon. Burnley 2, Aston Villa 2, Crystal Palace 2, Everton 2, Nottingham Forest 1, Newcastle United 1, and the one that all of our eyes were on, West Ham United 0, Arsenal 1. Now, of course, Spurs are next in Premier League action on Monday evening, hosting Leeds United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 8 p.m. kickoff. Because of West Ham's result on Sunday, they remain in the bottom 3. They only have 2 games left. They have 36 points from 36 matches. Spurs remain in 17th, a point above West Ham, now have a game in hand, which means that Spurs, in their remaining 3 Premier League games, need just 2 wins or 1 win and 2 draws, and Spurs will remain in the Premier League for the 2026-2027 campaign. Now, because West Ham United lost 1-0 at home against Arsenal on Sunday, mathematically, Leeds United and Nottingham Forest are now both safe. They cannot be relegated. They both have 43 points. Now, officially, it is now between Spurs and West Ham, who will join Burnley and Wolves to be relegated in just 2 weeks' time. There is only 2 weeks left of the Premier League campaign. Spurs, the remaining 3 fixtures are Leeds United at home, Chelsea away and Everton at home. West Ham's final 2 fixtures are Newcastle United away and Leeds United at home. Now, ahead of the Leeds United game on Monday, Roberto De Zerbi has been reflecting on Tottenham's result and performance at Villa Park last weekend. He has also been looking ahead to the Leeds game on Monday. He said, "I was immensely proud of our performance at Villa Park on Sunday. Without the ball, we showed great courage, and with it, we demonstrated our quality. The 3 points were, of course, the most important thing. However, I was also extremely pleased with the way that we played and the belief we showed in ourselves." We dominated the game from the first whistle and took the lead through a great strike from Conor Gallagher. It was his first goal for the club and I was delighted for him. He has also been exceptional in recent games, and when he plays like that, it feels like we have 12 players on the pitch because he is everywhere. The second goal came from a beautiful cross from Matisse Tell and a brilliant header from Richarlison. We went into half-time with a deserved 2-0 lead. Having shown great passion, tempo and quality, we weren't quite as strong in the second half, but still controlled the game and restricted Aston Villa to hardly any chances apart from their late consolation in injury time. Overall, it was a brilliant performance, which gives us momentum heading in to the final 3 fixtures. I must also mention you, our incredible fans. You were so loud from the first minute to the last and really helped drive us on. We are, as ever, grateful for all of your passionate support. Before Aston Villa came Wolves and another win. It wasn't the best performance. However, we did what we needed to do to secure the 3 points. That is what I love most, was the heart and desire shown by every player to grind out the result. Sometimes you have to win ugly, and that's what we did. I'm delighted with the back-to-back victories. However, it is crucial we remember the situation we are in. The job is not done yet. There is still work to do. We will not be complacent, and we have trained hard over the past week. We are ready for the 3 difficult matches ahead. The first of those is against Leeds United. Daniel Farke has done an outstanding job this season, particularly in the past month. We will need to show the same qualities we have displayed in recent games if we are to be successful. Roberto De Zerbi then went on to say, and I know we can be, especially with you on our side. The noise you generated against Brighton in my first home game in charge was extraordinary and made a real difference. It should be a special atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium again when we face Leeds on Monday. I can't wait to see you all. Let's do this together. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode, and I know it's a short one, there's only a couple of stories here, but I felt that it was very, very necessary to record something about the West Ham United result and, of course, Roberto De Zerbi's message. Now, fair play to West Ham United. They are sitting in the relegation zone, 36 points from 36 games. Spurs, 37 points from 35 matches. It is in our hands. We knew it was in our hands before West Ham played Arsenal. Because, mathematically, if Spurs won all 3, we couldn't be caught by West Ham because they would always be a point behind us, even if they won their remaining 3 games. Well, it's not to be. It remains in Tottenham's hands. We need 2 wins, or we need 1 win and 2 draws, i.e. we just need 5 points and we will get over the line on goal difference. Now, I just said fair play to West Ham because I watched that game on Sunday afternoon. West Ham 0, Arsenal 1. They gave everything. Every single 50-50, they were there. They challenged for everything. They fought for everything. And I actually felt that they were very, very unlucky not to get something from the game. Of course, they had a goal disallowed in the 95th minute. If I'm completely honest, taking my Tottenham hat off, I felt that was a foul. But like I said before this game, how do I want this game to end? I know a lot of Spurs fans said, there's a real mixture of opinions actually on this one. Some people wanted a draw. Some people wanted West Ham to win to stop Arsenal winning the title. Some people wanted Arsenal to win to help us out at the bottom of the table. I just said what will be, will be. And I'll be honest with you, from what I saw last week against Aston Villa and the way that Roberto De Zerbi has organised this team, got us running a lot more. And Conor Gallagher, in that game last week against Aston Villa, he ran more kilometres than any other Premier League player in the entire 25-26 campaign. Now, that is the difference. That is the Roberto De Zerbi impact. And, he's changed things. He really, really has. That is the Roberto De Zerbi effect. And I just think that, when we have a pre-season under Roberto De Zerbi, I think it's going to be very, very exciting. But, like he said in the message to the fans, it isn't over yet. We can't be complacent. We need at least 5 points out of a possible 9 in our remaining 3 Premier League games. It would be great to get back to winning ways. We were very, very unlucky a couple of weeks ago against Brighton not to win that game 2-1. Of course, Brighton equalised in the dying seconds. And we haven't won a Premier League game at home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium since we beat Brentford under Thomas Frank back in December. The only other Premier League win this season was on the opening weekend of the campaign, beating Burnley 3-0. So only 2 Premier League home wins all season. It would be great to get a third on Monday night against Leeds. And of course, Leeds United, Forest, they are now mathematically safe. It is now between Spurs and West Ham. Spurs are in the driving seat. And at this stage, you would say, having seen our performance and the result against Aston Villa last weekend, I know Villa stuttered against Burnley on Sunday, drawing 2-2. But Villa have been in fine form this season, and they are no mugs and they are no pushover. And Spurs really did put in an exceptional performance last weekend, and that is exactly what I want to see again. Because I've sat here and said 2 wins to Spurs out of 3, or even 1 win and 2 draws. It may even be less than that. If West Ham go to Newcastle and they lose that game, they can't afford to lose or draw any games. They've got to win both matches to be have any chance of safety. But like I've always said, especially in these last few weeks, I don't care about other results. It is all about us, because when you feel like you are in the driving seat, and when you are in the driving seat, mathematically, if you know that all you've got to do is win your remaining games and you will be a Premier League team next season, you have to focus on yourself. And I feel like I've had that attitude for the last couple of weeks. We just need to focus on ourselves. So Spurs just need to get the job done now. We need a really decent performance, and the 3 points most importantly, against Leeds. And I also take the point from Roberto De Zerbi saying about winning ugly. That was an ugly win at Wolves, and we hadn't won for 118 days in the Premier League. That was a vital win. That really was. That was a turning moment in our season. Many people came away from that going, oh, that was a terrible game. But the most important thing that day was the 3 points. And then we won fantastically well last weekend against Aston Villa. But these results must continue. And like I've also said in the last couple of weeks, if Spurs do survive this, which I'm really hoping, then Spurs need to have a huge summer. In the summer transfer window, there needs to be a big shake-up at the football club, and serious questions need to be asked. Why on earth Spurs are in this position again, finishing 17th last season, and we are in 17th now. This cannot happen again next year. I do not want to be going through this type of scenario again next year. No way. A lot of players need to go out the door. A lot of players need to come in the door. Vast improvements need to be made on the pitch, off the pitch, etc. A lot needs to happen. But like Roberto De Zerbi said, we've got 3 games left. We must concentrate on these 3. There's going to be a TIFO on Monday evening against Leeds. The fans will have a huge part to play in that. And the Spurs fans have been exceptional, actually, especially when it really, really matters. And last week at Villa, it really did matter. And the Spurs fans from minute one, I know sometimes managers and players just say this to get the fans on board. But, I was there. I can vouch for it. And, from minute one until the very, very end, the fans did not stop singing, supporting the club, singing for the manager, singing virtually for every single player. And I've got to say, and I am raving about that performance last week, every single player, every single member of that starting 11 played their part. And like I mentioned, Conor Gallagher, and like Roberto De Zerbi has also mentioned Conor Gallagher getting his first goal, the running that he did. But even players that have taken a lot of flack this season, players like Matisse Tell, players like Cowlin, players like Richarlison, they all stepped up last week, every single player. I felt like even Antonin Kinski, who didn't actually have a lot to do, his footwork and his distribution last week against Aston Villa at Villa Park was exceptional. So I would imagine that Kinski would actually start the next 3 games. And I think Vicario has probably played his final game in a Spurs shirt. But, like De Zerbi keeps saying, it isn't over yet until it is mathematically over. And then we can breathe a sigh of relief. It was a big sigh of relief against Wolves, winning ugly. That was a big sigh of relief last week against Aston Villa. Let's have another one against Leeds. And I love the confidence from De Zerbi. When we had 5 games to go, he said we are capable of winning all 5. Well, 2 down, 3 to go. And I do feel much better about things. But like De Zerbi has said, and I completely agree, don't count our chickens yet. It isn't over. So we just need to keep winning, keep concentrating, and keep building, because I've really enjoyed this very short time under Roberto De Zerbi. And I tell you what, if we are a Premier League team next season and Spurs have a decent transfer window, then I tell you what, I'm going to feel excited about playing De Zerbi ball under Roberto De Zerbi, because we know, we have seen the type of football that he likes to play. It is the Tottenham way. So we should feel excited. But 3 games to go, 9 points to play for. We need at least 5. It may be less if West Ham go to Newcastle and lose that game. But let's talk about that then. Let's just concentrate on us and get the 3 points on Monday night. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Have a great week. I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe and well. Come on, you Spurs.